Today we'll discuss about metal semiconductor contacts. I, Dr. Vanna Ranga, would like to discuss, before we discuss metal semiconductor contacts, about the devices related to these type of contacts, that are MESFET and related devices. The metal semiconductor contacts, MESFET, MOSFET, what are these and how they are used as metal semiconductor contacts, what are the differences, all these will be discussed in this chapter. The metal semiconductor field effect transistor, that is the MESFET, has current voltage characteristics similar to that of a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, that is MOSFET. However, it uses a metal semiconductor rectifying contact instead of a MOS structure for the gate electrode. In addition, the source and drain contacts of MESFET are ohmic, whereas in MOSFET they are PN junctions. Like other field effect devices, a MESFET has a negative temperature coefficient like high current levels, that is the current decreases as the temperature increases. That is characteristic leads to more uniform temperature distribution, and the device is therefore thermally stable even when the active area is large or when many devices are connected in parallel. Furthermore, because MESFETs can be made from compound semiconductors with high electron mobility such as gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, they have higher switching speeds and higher cutoff frequencies than do silicon MOSFETs. The basic building block of a MESFET is the metal semiconductor contact. This contact is electrically similar to a one-sided abrupt PN junction, yet it can be operated as a majority carrier device with inherently fast response. There are two types of metal semiconductor contacts, the rectifying and the non-rectifying types of ohmic contacts. In this chapter, we will begin with two types of contacts and then consider the basic characteristics of microwave performance of the MESFET, and we will discuss the modulation doped field effect transistor, that is the MOSFET, which is similar to the device configuration of MESFET but can even offer higher speed performance. So, rectifying metal semiconductor contact and its current voltage characteristics, ohmic metal semiconductor contact and its specific contact resistance, the MESFET and its high frequency response, the MOSFET and its two-dimensional electron gas, a comparison of three field effect transistors, that is the MOSFET, MESFET and the MOSFET. So, we will first of all start our talk with the discussion with what is the meaning of a metal semiconductor contact. The first practical semiconductor device was the metal semiconductor contact in form of a point contact rectifier, that is a metallic whisker pressed against a semiconductor. The device found many applications beginning in 1904. In 1938, Schottky suggested that the rectifying behavior could arise from a potential barrier as a result of stable space charge in the semiconductor. The model arising from this concept is known as the Schottky barrier. Metal semiconductor contacts can be non-rectifying, that is, the contact has a negligible resistance regardless of the polarity of the applied voltage. This type of contact is called the ohmic contact. All semiconductor devices as well as integrated circuits need ohmic contacts to make connections to other devices in an electronic system. We consider the energy band diagram and the current voltage characteristics of both the rectifying and non-rectifying, that is the ohmic metal semiconductor contacts. So first of all, what are the basic characteristics? The basic characteristics of point contact rectifiers were not reproducible from one device to another. They have been largely replaced by metal semiconductor contacts fabricated by planar processes. A schematic diagram of such a device is shown in this figure. To fabricate a device, a window is opened in an oxide layer and a metal layer is deposited in a vacuum system. The metal layer covering the window is subsequently defined by a lithographic step. We consider a one-dimensional structure of the metal semiconductor contact as we have shown over here in this diagram, which corresponds to the central section between the dashed lines. So this is the perspective view of a metal semiconductor contact fabricated by a planar process, and the second figure B shows one-dimensional structure of a semiconductor contact. Figure A shows the energy band diagram of an isolated metal adjacent to an isolated n-type semiconductor. We note that the metal function Q phi m is generally different from the semiconductor work function Q phi s. The work function is defined as the energy difference between the Fermi level and the vacuum level, also shown in the electron affinity Q chi, which is the energy difference between the conduction band edge and the vacuum level in the semiconductor. When the metal makes intimate contact with the vacuum level in the makes intimate contact with the semiconductor, the Fermi levels in the two metals must be equal at thermal equilibrium. In addition, the vacuum level must be continuous. These two requirements determine a unique energy band diagram for the ideal metal semiconductor contact, as we have shown over here in this figure. For this ideal case, the barrier height Q phi b is simply the difference between the metal work function and the semiconductor electron affinity. Q phi b is equal to Eg minus in brackets Q phi m minus Q chi. So here we show the energy band diagram of an isolated metal adjacent to an isolated n-type semiconductor under thermal equilibrium condition. Energy band diagram of a metal semiconductor contact in thermal equilibrium. Eg is the band gap of the semiconductor. Therefore, the given semiconductor and for any metal, the sum of the barrier heights on n-type and p-type substrates is expected to be equal to the band gap Q phi b n plus phi b p is equal to Eg. On semiconductor side, VBI is the built-in potential that is seen by the electrons and the conduction band trying to move into the metal. That is, VBI is equal to phi Bn minus Vn. The QVn is the distance between the bottom of the conduction band and the Fermi level. Similarly, results can be given for a p-type semiconductor. The figure shows the measured barrier heights for n-type silicon and n-type gallium arsenide. Note that Q phi Bn increases with increasing Q phi m. However, the dependence is not as strong as it was predicted earlier. This is because the practical Schottky diodes, the disruption of the crystal lattice at the semiconductor surface, produces a large number of surface energy states located in the forbidden band gap. These surface states can act as donors or acceptors that influence the final determination of the barrier height. For silicon and gallium arsenide, the equation generally underestimated and the n-type barrier height, and equation 2 overestimates the p-type barrier height. The sum Q phi Bn and Q phi Bp, however, is in agreement with the equation. The energy band diagrams for metals on both n-side and n-type and p-type semiconductors under different biasing conditions. Consider the n-type semiconductor first. When bias voltage is 0, as we have shown over here in this diagram, when the bias voltage is 0, as shown in the left side of the diagram, the band diagram is under thermal equilibrium condition. The Fermi levels for both materials are equal. If we apply a positive voltage to the metal with respect to the n-type semiconductor, the semiconductor to metal barrier height decreases as shown in the left side. This is forward bias. When a forward bias is applied, electrons can move easily from semiconductor into metal because the barrier has been reduced by voltage Vf. For a reverse bias, a negative voltage is applied to the metal. A barrier has been increased by a voltage Vr, as you have depicted in the left side. It is more difficult for electrons to flow from the semiconductor into the metal. We have similar results for p-type semiconductor. However, the polarities must be reversed. In the following derivations, we consider only the metal n-type semiconductor contact. The results are equally applicable to p-type semiconductor with an appropriate change of polarities. The charge and field distributions for a metal semiconductor contact are shown in figure. This figure over here. The metal is assumed to be a perfect conductor. The charge transferred to it from the semiconductor exists in a very narrow region at the metal surface. The extent of the space charge in the semiconductor is W, that is rho s is equal to Q Nd for x is less than W, and phi s is equal to 0 for x greater than W. Thus, the charge distribution is identical to that of one-sided abrupt P plus N junction. The magnitude of the electric field is decreasing linearly with distance. The maximum electric field EM is located at the interface. The electric field distribution is then given by Ex is equal to QND divided by epsilon S in brackets W minus X bracket close is equal to EM minus QND by epsilon S X. So EM is equal to QND W by ES, where epsilon S is the dielectric permittivity of the semiconductor, the voltage across the space charge region, which is represented by the area under the field is given by VBI is minus V is equal to epsilon m W by 2 is equal to QND W square by 2 epsilon S. The depletion layer width W is expressed as W is equal to under root of 2 epsilon S VBI minus V bracket close divided by QND, and the space charge density QSC in the semiconductor is given by QND W is equal to under root of 2 Q epsilon S ND in brackets VBI minus V bracket close coulomb per centimeter square, where the voltage V equal to plus VF for forward bias and to minus VR for reverse bias. The depletion layer capacitance C per unit area can be calculated as C is equal to del QSC divided by del V. This is equal to under root of Q epsilon S ND divided by 2 in brackets VBI minus V epsilon S by W farad per centimeter square. So 1 by C square is equal to 2 VBI minus V bracket close divided by Q epsilon S ND farad per centimeter square to the power of minus 2. We can differentiate 1 by C square with respect to V. If we rearrange the terms, then we get ND is equal to 2 divided by Q epsilon S in brackets 1 divided by D of 1 by C square bracket close by dV, d by dV of 1 by C square. The measurements of capacitance C per unit area as a function of voltage can be provided by impurity distribution. If ND is the constant throughout the depletion region, we should obtain a single straight line plotting 1 by C square versus V. The plot of measured capacitance versus voltage for tungsten silicon and silicon gallium arsenide are Schottky diodes. The intercept of 1 by C square is equal to 0 corresponding to the built-in potential VBI. Once VBI is determined, the barrier height phi Bn can be calculated. So today we have discussed about the basics. In the next class we will take up what are the technicalities of a Schottky barrier. Thank you.